Welcome to Board Game Binge, the place where we bring you bite-sized, bingeable board game content from across the industry. I'm your host, James Staley, and in this episode, we're chatting with James Takenaka, Director of Sales for Hit Point Sales, a division of Fun Again Logistics, a wholesale distribution company that focuses on selling games to a network of distributors and retailers around the world. James, welcome to the Binge. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
It is great to have you. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Say your name one more time for the group in case I got it wrong. I know there's some intonation there that's not quite perfect, but it is great to have you.
It was really good. It's James Takenaka. You said it fine.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Got it. Woohoo. Win of the day. So, James, Hit Point Sales, I got introduced to this company actually through our Theris games. We interviewed Andrew Burkett about 3 months ago, I guess, and he actually spoke quite positively about Hit Point Sales. I thought, gosh, I got to get these guys on the podcast and explain to us what is this all about. So let's start off talking about kind of your background and what led you to Hit Point in the first place. Because I know you've been in the industry for a while, right?
Yeah. So probably the earliest I could say starting in the hobby market industry is I started selling, comic books and baseball cards at trade shows. And then that led me to open a store with my friend. And we started selling comics and baseball cards. And then Magic the Gathering Ice Age is when we started selling, I guess, gaming kind of materials. We were selling Pogs and things like that. But I distinctly remember Magic the Gathering Ice Age. And so I was doing that, but my day job was as an auditor. And I was actually on the team for Bandai America, which is the Power Ranger toy company.
Okay.
Back then. And so I learned about licensing, learned about toys. And then I just wasn't happy and started doing, I left and went to a company that did photo sticker machines. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah. I remember those. Yeah. But, okay. Yeah.
And so it was called Print Club. And that's where I really got involved in the licensing industry. And then after that ended, just kind of dumb luck, I tied in with this old coworker and he was doing licensed trading cards. That led me then to actually consulting for Bandai America somehow in their gaming division.
Yeah.
And after being a consultant for a while, they hired me on as the U.S. marketing director and sales for their games division. And we were selling the Naruto collectible card game was the big product. And then that led into like Resident Evil deck building games, Star Trek deck building games. And then actually, they kind of closed down the division. So I got laid off. And Dan Yarrington, who was the owner of GameSloot, I was selling to his game stores. And when he heard I was being laid off, he asked me, are you interested in joining GameSloot? And I went over there, started essentially what was Hit Point Sales for GameSloot. And then about 3 years into it, we kind of changed direction a little bit and opened Hit Point Sales officially. And so that is about 6 years ago. So I've been doing wholesale sales distribution for board games for about 9 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So long story short, that's kind of how I just kind of dumb lucked myself into the gaming industry.
And then Fun Again purchased, I guess. Did they purchase Hit Point, or how did that come about?
So in August of 2019, Fun Again acquired Hit Point Sales and Ship Naked. Okay. And we merged into their Fun Again logistics company. And so I'm pretty much doing the exact same thing. Even my warehouse is the same, but just I'm under the Fun Again logistics banner now, but still Hit Point Sales. So,
and so you act as like a division then, I guess, where you focus specifically on kind of the sales side more than I guess Fun Again takes care of more logistics, and the two of those things kind of paired up.
Right. Yeah, because I'm kind of like a client of Fun Again Logistics. They do all my shipping for me. So so each division's kind of a little bit separate, but all under the same umbrella banner.
And so how does it work? So what is Hit Point Sales?
Okay, so Hit Point Sales is a consolidator. So I'm not sure if everyone has heard of that, but basically we're kind of a middleman between a publisher and distributors and retailers, because what's happening is there's just too many publishers for the distributors to handle all of
Yeah.
them. And so what happens is a lot of publishers can't get accounts with the distributors because they're just kind of overwhelmed over there. And so what I'm able to do is I have an account with the distributors. I worked many years to get that, get those accounts, but I can represent, 50 different publishers all under one vendor account of Hit Point Sales. And so those distributors can order from me and have access to all these different games, because even the distributor might be like, I can only use like a case,
Yeah.
can you ship me a case or even 1 unit, 2 units? And so I can do that for them versus like if you were to work as a publisher directly with that distributor, you kind of need them to order cases,
Yeah.
for it to work financially, the shipping costs. So what I'm able to do is just kind of be that bridge to kind of help people along. And the dirty little secret or the sad thing is that a lot of your clients, if you make them successful in this model, they get so big that maybe they can hire their own salesperson. And
Yeah.
so they kind of graduate or leave you
Hmm.
at a certain point. But it's like good and bad because you obviously helped build their company and had good sales under your own banner, but they became so big that it's like, okay, it's time for them to kind of take it under their you know, own
And you
initiative.
you sell to retailers direct as well, or just through distributors, or how does that work?
So we initially just were selling mainly to distributors, but what's
Okay.
happened is there's too many games, and so retail distributors can't carry everything. So we do start Oak Taylor direct accounts because they go, hey, my distributor doesn't carry this game, but I want it. Can I order it directly from you? So it's been growing a little bit, but I'd still say like 90% of my sales are to direct to distributors, not retailers.
You've represented quite a number of companies, right? Like I just have your page open here for the people who are watching live, and I mean, there's
Yeah.
some big names on this list. So are these current? Or are these people current and past? Or
So it should be current, but some of them maybe haven't released a game in a long time, or they released the one game.
sure,
Um, yes, Tabletop Tycoon, which was formerly Game Salute, they created Starling Games, Polyhero Dice Victory Point Games. So that's
Mhm.
my biggest client. But we've been adding things like Luda Creations, which is a really good one. Surf and Meeple, which is an umbrella of like Colossal Games. There's a bunch of games that will be released under our banner as well. So yeah, it's been exciting. It's grown every year since we started it. And yeah, the clients get better, the products are getting better, the clients are getting better. It was a long trek, but I'm pretty proud of where we're at right now.
I can say from personal experience, I encountered this after we launched our first game. Um, a lot of publishers, especially small publishers, will go and hit your local market, right? Hit all the local game stores, call them personally, and say, hey, we support local. Here's a game that we launched on Kickstarter. And there was a couple of large stores I went to where I had trouble getting past that kind of front door person, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And I would say, we've got this game. Here's what the game is about. And they'd say, well, who are you going through? Which distributor? I said, well, I'm distributing it. I'll bring it, we're going to deliver it straight to you. And, don't even worry about the minimums, whatever quantity you want, I will drive it here and I'll drop it off. I just want to get this game supported in the local community. And I had a number of them still say, nah, you know what? I got my sheet I open up at the beginning of the week, and I've got 2 or 3 distributors that I, will go through their list and kind of tick off the boxes what I want. And then I'm done. I don't have to worry about a separate sheet. And I'd be afraid I would, forget about your game. And I'd say, well, we'll have one of our representatives come in here on a weekly basis. Right. And I'm not taking the hint. And they're
Yeah, yeah.
saying, no, we don't want to have a bunch of people come in here. We want to have 3 people. We want to see 3 lists where we check our little boxes and we're done, and we can get on to, serving customers and managing our stock. So there's definitely value in being able to get your game in with these distributors. But I think, in the case of even some of the distributors may not want to carry some of these smaller games. They may not want to bring in, as you said, a full case of product. They may only want to start, by dipping their toe in the water and, maybe taking a handful of games. So this is certainly, I think, a service that helps a lot of publishers, I guess.
Yeah, originally, again, I didn't really know the kind of structure of wholesale distribution. I knew how it was working at Bandai America, but once we started getting into board games, and being working with really small publishers, guys who are just doing it part-time, have a couple
Yep.
hundred games, you started finding where it was kind of difficult because it costs time and money just to get your product listed. And so that's kind of why even a game store, I've got all these great games that are coming every week from the bigger publishers. So
Yep.
like, do I really need your game? Like that's kind of the hard part of, you get a lot of no's, because even when I was starting, I thought I had great games. Alien Frontiers, I thought, I could get accounts. I couldn't get accounts with some of the distributors.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so I think a little bit of advice for small publishers, it's kind of a long trek. You
Oh
just
yeah.
have to keep trying and adding that one brand new retailer, another retailer, another retailer, another distributor. You just kind of slowly make that climb, because a lot of times your company is really not about the game you have right now. It might be the second or third game that's coming out.
Hmm.
Very rarely have I worked with a publisher where the first game is just the hit. It's
Yeah.
usually the third or fourth game, and then it's like, oh, we're finally making money now. In the beginning, we're
Yeah.
just trickling through, and then, oh, it hit. You got that success. So, it's you just keep working at it. A lot of no's happen, but yeah, that's where it's like you can't get depressed about that. You have to be, oh, the yes, I got the yes. That one time. Yeah.
I think that for people listening who maybe have a game of their own coming in, it's tough to kind of separate yourself from the fact that this is your baby, right? So you've created this game. You may think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but for a distributor that has to sell to a retailer, they need something that's going to move relatively fast, right? And
Mhm. Yeah.
unfortunately, if there's no demand for that product, now they have to expend time, right? They've got to put time into trying to promote your game and try to sell your game, which they don't want to do, because guess what? There's another 10 games that do have demand already coming with them
Mhm.
that they can put the resources into. So, it's tough not to take these things personally, but it's important not to take these things personally. Often it is just, unfortunately, kind of like the old cliche is business, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's just tough when I don't know the exact numbers anymore, but we always talk about like there's 4,000, 5,000 brand new games each year or something. And,
Hmm.
the distributor might be approached with like a couple of hundred brand new SKUs
Yeah.
each week.
Oh yeah.
So like, okay, yours comes out this week. Okay. And I kind of told you where it's going to be like 2 to 3 months. If you don't have some kind of momentum, you're gone. Like you're already 12, you might be 1,200 SKUs since then, since your game released have come
Yeah.
out. So it it is difficult for a distributor, because even in myself as well, we're working under such small margins
Yeah.
that we don't really have the ability to market to the consumer. So that's why it's really up to the publisher to still be in charge of that.
Hmm.
We're making the network of your product being available if consumers want this. And so like somebody walks in a store, oh, I don't know that game, let me look. Oh, my distributor has it. That's, we can get you that product. But bringing that consumer in, the distributor's not really doing that. I'm not really doing that. It really is up to you, because the retailer might not be, they need to be told by consumers, oh, what is this game that everyone keeps asking me
Yeah.
about? And then that's when you might get exposure. And so that's why you get that 3 month period if nothing happens. And so it's tough. And that's why I always say it's kind of babies, you just keep trudging along, because whatever you sold and didn't sell, your next Kickstarter, your expansion for it promotes it again, go to conventions. Hey, this expansion for this game you sold is available. Do you need to restock on the base game? So you're just trying to keep that lifespan as long as you can. And that's why I think Kickstarter is great, because you get the chance to keep trying to get in front of people's eyes. Oh, wait, I carried that base game. I sold like 2 units. It did. Oh, let me find out, hey, did
Yeah.
you know this expansion for this game? So you're just trying anything, because you need free publicity somehow. And that's why your podcast, game reviews on websites, anything to kind of just get a little bit of buzz.
Yeah.
That's what I always recommend, because it's cheaper than trying to buy banner ads on places that I don't know if they work or not, you know.
So on that note, if there's any publishers out there looking to come on our podcast, shoot me a note to the
Yeah.
boardgamebinge.com website. Love to talk to you. Let's talk about your game. So let's go through the actual model, how this works. So can you walk us through kind of the numbers of how it breaks down? Because I know that a lot of people that have talked to me about finding either a distributor for their game or like yourself, a consolidator, they need kind of the rough numbers, right? So they can kind of work in their head on what that kind of looks like. So take a game that costs, to keep the numbers simple, say the game would retail at $100, right? How does it break down in terms of what they would sell to you at, and then you would sell it to like a distributor at, and how that whole model works for them?
Yeah. So $100 game, you're going to want to be selling that to a retailer at $50.
Okay.
You know, you can kind of play with those margins a little bit, but like a retailer wants to get 50% off.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it at 50, you're going to be expected to sell to the distributor at $40. Okay. And then if you work with a consolidator like me, you know, you're going to get paid maybe between like $33, $32. You know, it could vary a little bit. You know, all the consolidators will have their different models, but that's what you have to be kind of ready for in the wholesale market. And that's where it comes into sticker shock a little bit for some, you know, brand new people, that I go, if you can't really meet those kind of pricing, you know, it's okay not to be ready for wholesale yet. You know, it's okay for you to kind of use your Amazon website, Kickstarter. That's your market. And then if you're getting some success, maybe that second print run is the one. Because I don't really believe in selling and not making a profit. Because what happens if we sell all the units? Do you have any money left to reprint it? You know, because like I said, it's not about the game really right now. It's about, you know, second, third, you know, print runs. You know, you got to keep building the momentum for your company. But yeah, that's kind of how the money works. Timing wise, you want to give distributors and myself like 3 to 4 months of lead time before you want to see it in a store. If we don't get that kind of lead time, you give your product less of a chance to succeed because you might miss the printed catalog. You know, it doesn't get in there. So you're only being promoted by emails, website, things like that. You know, so you want to always just kind of give your product the best chance to succeed. And my recommendation is you start sending your information out after your successful Kickstarter. We don't want it before, because we don't want to solicit products that might exist. We want to know that exists. We don't want to go to work for stuff that we're not sure if it's going to exist. But after your successful Kickstarter, if we can get pre-orders before you have to press print with your printer, maybe we could give you information you didn't know. It's like, hey, there's actually a lot of wholesale demand for my game.
So would you recommend in that case holding off, like, so your Kickstarter campaign closes, right? So you get funded and everybody's high-fiving. You know, some people will go to production pretty much immediately after their campaign closes. Are you saying that some cases it might make sense to kind of hold off a few months, do some more kind of pre-solicitation before you kind of lock down that final order?
I mean, I still think it's probably best to like provide your Kickstarter customers with the best timeline that you can. But a lot of times when you go, well, I'm not really going to print right now, I have to get proofs done and things like that. And so during that time period, it's possible that we could have a solicitation period of trying to get pre-orders. I don't really, I recommend, you know, soliciting after your Kickstarter ends, because you don't want like online stores to be like, oh, hey, I might discount this game, and it starts competing with your Kickstarter that's still running.
Maybe what you do is you send out a note of your base game before stretch targets and so forth, right? Because when you do your production, you can always produce extra. Yes, you don't want to take your deluxe version, shoot it into retailers before people potentially even get their own games. You are going to make a lot of Kickstarter backers angry, and probably lose quite a few for future approaches. But it is an interesting thought that if you're doing, say, your minimums are anywhere from 500 to 1,000 games, and you've got, say, 600 backers, maybe there's a base version of your game without the stretch targets that you can bump your order by another 200 units, right? If you give yourself another couple months.
Exactly.
And you'd mentioned earlier about, um, calendars or catalog times being printed. Is there specific times in the industry you tend to see people print their catalogs? Like, is there certain areas that people should plan for, or is it all over the map?
No, they're the two that I know that still do printed catalogs, they're
Mhm.
printing it every month.
Every month. Okay.
So yeah, so there's just a deadline. So like, and I'm forgetting the exact timelines, but they'll
Mhm.
say like, so by December 10th, you need to submit your products for products releasing in February. And so if you miss that and you want to release in February, you've missed the printed catalog. So it might just be emails. And I've heard some distributors just said, don't even give me your solicitation if you don't give me like, full time period. I don't
Sure.
want to be getting your information 1 month before it releases because
Yeah.
that's not enough time for them to put it through their system, But and there's exceptions to any rule. I always say, well, if you have Gloomhaven, you can get any distributor account you want. You can
Yeah.
release it whenever you want.
It's like
So
Wingspan, right? Nobody's saying
yeah,
no to take a Wingspan. So
yeah,
when they
exactly.
launched,
So there's exceptions, but you want to work within the system because that system's been there forever, and just don't
yeah.
go against it. Just go with it and see, because you want to give your product the best chance to succeed. And so if the buyers, the sales reps are all getting time to do what they normally do,
Yeah.
best chance to succeed.
So how does the actual shipping part work for your company? So it's a bit of a loaded question, but do the publishers ship it to the locations for you, or are you basically taking them into one of your, like, into Fun Again, into your warehouse? Like,
Yeah.
walk us through that part of your business model.
Yeah, so that's kind of where consolidator, that term really works out
Hmm.
because we're shipping all the product to one warehouse or two
Got it.
warehouses that
Yep.
we have. And so when orders are coming in, I'm trying my best to ship pallets of products to the distributors. The more money I save on shipping, the more profit I can make. Um, because I pay for that shipping
Right.
cost from the warehouse to the distributor. You're paying the cost from wherever your product is to our warehouse. Um, and like I said, you could get distributors that are ordering 1, 2 copies to particular warehouses. You'll just lose all your money if that's all you're shipping is
Yeah.
2 units to somewhere. And so, um, yeah, so you have to ship all your product, and then I'm hopefully, they place an order and they order 10 different games,
Yeah.
and I can pile up onto a pallet and ship it out.
So if you don't ship all the games that, or you don't sell all the games that somebody ships to you, then do they store them with you? Like, is there like a monthly fee, or how does that work?
Yeah, so Fun Again Logistics, at least, we
Yeah.
charge like, so you ship product, there's like a $5 receiving fee per pallet.
Yep.
And then we charge $20 per month per pallet. So however many games you could fit on that pallet, it's $20.
Got
Um,
it.
and so working with me, there is kind of this ongoing cost. That's not really how I make my money if the
Sure.
product just sits there. I make money by shipping it. So you want to have enough product though where it sells, and then I
Hmm.
get reorders. You want to have enough product there where I could fulfill the reorders potentially right away. If I
Yeah.
have to wait for you to ship more products,
You missed the
that
opportunity.
yeah,
Yep.
that time lag
Yeah.
kind of hurts the store because their customer might have come in, said I want it, and then 3 weeks later you deliver it. You kind of lose that excitement
Yeah.
potentially.
Well,
Um,
I think for people listening too, there's only one place I know that stores your games for free, and that's your house in your garage, right?
yeah, yeah,
So you're paying someone to store your games. If you have excess inventory, you're storing them somewhere. And in the industry rates, they're fairly similar pretty much everywhere you go. So,
yeah,
having them stored somewhere, but also that same person be able to take those games and sell them ongoing for you, so you don't have to worry about it, seems like
yeah.
a pretty cool advantage as well. Now, you service the world, or just you, like, you're based in the States, right? Is where your
Yep.
warehouses are right now?
hmm Yeah, so I can service the world, and I pretty much only work in English language versions of the
Okay.
game. So wherever you think English language versions of the games will ship,
Yeah.
I'm selling to. And so almost all the international distributors have, well, I would say all of them have a freight forwarder in the US. And so
Mm,
I'm shipping it to wherever their freight forwarder is in the US. And then they're taking containers and shipping it internationally, or however they're doing it. They'll have their good rates to get the product over there. And so you can get your product all over the world through Fun Again. And we've tried things before where you have a warehouse in Europe and you ship directly to. In the long run, it doesn't work. The product gets stranded over there a lot
Yeah.
of times.
Yeah.
We would love it if the product sold worldwide equally, but usually it doesn't. And so it's like, oh, I've got all these orders in the US, but they're all stuck in Europe and no one wants it in Europe for whatever reason. And so yeah, I think it's easy. Your games cost maybe a little bit more in those foreign countries, but I think that must be an accepted thing because everyone's doing it that way. Very rarely, the big guys will have products going directly to Europe or something, but
Yeah.
in general, most of us are smaller. And that's the one thing about Hit Point Sales is I work with smaller publishers. That's kind of
Mhm.
my niche. There's PSI and Flat River Group. They're going to work with bigger publishers in general. And I'm focusing more on hobby market. And I kind of like that. I work with small guys, but it is kind of you try to teach them things that have happened.
Yeah.
I think I was telling you before, I'm old enough where I've seen a lot of stuff and I have stories of what other companies have done. So it's not even my knowledge. I could just tell you, oh, this company did this and this is how it kind of ended up.
So on that note, what's one piece of advice you would have for a new publisher, someone who's just finishing their Kickstarter campaign? What's something that you would suggest people kind of be mindful of or keep their eyes out for when they're getting ready to do their campaign or when they're just finishing their campaign off?
Okay. Yeah, so I think what we talked about where it's a long haul. Like if you're really going to be a publisher,
Yeah.
you're expected to have games coming out all the time. Like you're going to have you're going to build a catalog of games.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, when you're first starting out, just be aware that, you don't necessarily have to do wholesale, but if you do, be aware like this is how it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And build it into your model if you'd like to, because I kind of believe you fill all channels of demand. So Kickstarter is going to have some demand, online will have some demand, wholesale,
Mm-hmm.
so you're trying to allocate your units out to see if you can keep building your audience, because stores will tell me all the time, my customers don't buy on Kickstarter. You got it, you've got to get your product over here at this kind of pricing level, or else you'll never reach those customers. That might be true. You don't know. Maybe they buy it on Amazon or, instead.
Yeah.
But if that's true, let me see if I can hit those customers as well.
Yeah.
Because you want to just keep increasing the size of your audience, which will then in turn help your next Kickstarter, help your next retail release. Like, oh, I sold that game, same publisher. They did a good job. Let me try this next one from them. You
Yeah.
just want to keep improving and improving. Yeah, that's the one thing. Nothing's perfect. We go out there and we just try to improve. Hit Point Sales is not perfect at all. I'm constantly just improving each year.
Yeah.
And like I told you, one of the Alliance distribution, it took me like 3 years to get that account. I finally got it though.
Yeah.
And so you just keep going at it. I kept going to their booth, talk to a buyer. They said, oh, he's busy, and one day I finally got it. And then after that, I got Everdell.
Yeah.
Everyone wants Everdell. So all of a sudden,
yeah.
all these avenues open up for me. But if you don't have Everdell, just keep going along. And so that's my advice, is that you can't believe it's just about this one game that you have. If you're going to be a publisher, if it's just about the one game, then you should probably switch and become a designer.
Is there any expansion plans at all for Hit Point Sales, or what are you guys working on now? Is there another evolution of your company, or?
Yeah, probably right now the biggest thing is we're starting to get more European publishing clients. Luda Creations and the Surf and Meeple deals, and some other ones actually. They're starting to kind of come in, and those are kind of coming from the Fun Again logistics side of the relationships, because they're doing Kickstarter, fulfillment for a lot of these clients, or they've been buying from Essen and doing the Essen mule service over to like BGG Con. So because of those relationships, we're starting to add some of these pretty good clients, in my opinion. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to keep adding better. When I first started, our product line was not good. It was really tough to get any sales. And it just kept growing every year. Products get better. The publishers get better. That's the thing, right? Your first game, you learn all this stuff, and then your second game, you start improving a lot. And then, like I said, it's very rewarding to see your company maybe graduate. Sad to leave, but you've graduated because you become so large that you really have a big, very solid business.
Yeah, knowledge is definitely cumulative. So how do people reach out to you? So if this is something that someone's looking for, they're looking for a consolidator, someone to help them kind of take a lot of this off their shoulders so they can just focus on getting on to their next title. How best do they reach out to you?
Okay, so probably the one I notice the most will be email. So
Okay.
james@hitpointsales.com.
Well, that's easy. James at hitpointsales.com.
Yeah. You can go to our website, hitpointsales.com, and there's some like
hitpointsales.com.
contact us kind of pages that you could fill out. And then I'm just a little bit on Facebook. I really use that more for personal use, but
Yep.
I have all the business friends or whatever, industry friends.
It's quite the ecosystem, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm kind of old, so I'm still kind of email. It's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me.
James at hitpointsales.com.
Yep.
James, it has been awesome having you on this podcast. This is definitely an angle that I've found very interesting and for quite some time, and was excited to get you on here to talk to us about it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that have a much better idea of how the consolidation part of the business works. So I want to thank you so much for your time and wish you all the best to you and your family this holiday season.
No, thank you very much. And thanks for doing these kind of podcasts. I really enjoy like the industry side.
Yeah, no worries.
The business stuff. All right.
Take care. Cheers.
Thanks. See you.
This has been an episode of the Board Game Binge podcast, hosted by James Staley, produced by James Staley and Mike Bruner, with original music by Nick Smith. If you would like to watch these interviews live, simply join the Facebook group Board Game Binge, and you'll get access to live interviews, giveaways, and interesting board game content from across the industry. I can't wait for you to join us. See you next time.